Alright, hello guys. Welcome to my first weekly analysis video. In these videos I'm going to try and give you guys a view of the broad market, the SPX, and look into some different indexes and try and get a feel for where I think the market's going to be headed in the following week. And at the end, I'm also going to try to give you a stock or maybe a few stocks that I'm watching that have had a weekly breakout or I see a lot of potential in to run for the next week. So with that said, let's get started. Here is my big picture of the SPX here. We're kind of inside of this big channel, and as you can see, we've been struggling to close weekly below this area, the 294, 295 area. This is the area we broke out from after the range, and we are not able to close weekly below that yet. And so right now, all you can do is look at this and say, well, we're making higher lows, right? We have also made a lower high. So it's a bit of indecision here in the market. But who's to say that we can't run up and test this top trend line again? We're holding the breakout area nicely, and it would not surprise me if we ran up to make new highs before falling down again. Now let's look at a bit smaller frame. I'm going to switch over to the SPY, and I have some numbers marked out. So if we look at this picture, we ran up on Friday and we came up to this top of this breakdown candle high, and we rejected pretty nicely. We'll go look at an intraday chart in a little bit, focus in on what happened there. So how do we know where the market's going to go next week? Essentially, these numbers are going to help with that. So I do think that there is going to be some continued downside, at least to the gap. I think the market's probably going to want to fill the gap. I was looking for resistance at this breakdown candle, as we are starting to see some weakness in the market, and I am looking for this gap to be filled. And so how do we know if that's not going to happen? Essentially, 298.46 is the breakdown candle high. If we start closing hourly and definitely daily above that level, we're almost certainly headed up for this gap, and honestly at that point we may be headed for new highs. So that will be a big level this week. Make sure you guys have that marked on your charts. We want to watch if price does start going back up, how it reacts around that level. If we get hourly closes, definitely be watching that. And then on the downside here, we can still come down and be okay. I mean, you saw how many times we came down in this range over here and we were okay. So we can come down, we can fill the gap, we can even come down and fill this gap down here, and we can still bounce right off the trend line. We can go to new highs, so these are some important levels that we need to be watching. So where do we really get in trouble? Let's say the SPY decides to tank 10 points on Monday, and we're looking okay. Well, where do we know that SPY is really in trouble, that we're going down far? And that level is the gap. It's the gap, and this zone here. So if we switch over to a weekly chart, we'll see the weekly candle that broke this range. That weekly candle low is essentially what we've been fighting as well. So this range here, 289.27 to 288.49, that will be very, very important on the downside, as well as looking for this trend line break. If we do get that, then I would expect us obviously to have some sort of support around 285. But honestly, if we get below that zone, it's looking pretty bad for the market, and we'll probably head down to the bottom of this channel. So let's go intraday real quick and just look at an hourly chart. And I just want to explain the importance of breakdown candle highs. If you guys haven't seen my support and resistance video, make sure you guys go watch that. This is just a perfect example of a breakdown candle high that acts as very strong resistance. We came around, we played with it all day. There was some news, about China and the trade deal. Trump came out to talk, 20 minutes before the market closed, and we can see the market. Obviously, it was a sell the news event, and if you know these support and resistance important zones like breakdown candle highs, you would have already known that this was a sell the news event. You don't really want to trade 20 minutes before close, but if you're going to do that, puts was the clear choice on this trade, and it would have worked out very well for you. So let's move over to some indexes now. Let's look at the IWM, small caps here. The IWM, same deal, right? Breakdown candle high. We actually couldn't get to it and fell away pretty far. We are actually still in this range here. We are back inside the range, so the IWM is looking weak. Here are the important levels that I have. Same deal, if IWM starts to close hourly, daily above this breakdown candle high, it's probably got other plans. We may go back up and test these highs again. So that will be a big zone on the IWM. Right now, though, looking pretty weak. I'd say that that's a sign of weakness. Can tend to lead the market, and I would be looking for lower prices, possibly to come fill this gap, test these lows, but we will find out next week. We'll just be watching how price acts around those levels. Let's look at the transportations. Same deal. Transportation department didn't even come close to testing its breakdown candle high, so definitely a sign of weakness. I would not also be surprised if this comes down and tries to fill its gap, right? And same deal. We know that something else is going on. If we start closing above that candle, these candles will be important to watch on every chart next week. A lot of charts have these big breakdown candles that we're getting close to. This doesn't really have a lot of room on the upside with these trend lines. If we did get above that, I'd be looking for the 10,600, 700 level in here to act as a strong resistance. We've got a gap up here along with an important level. Let's look at the financials now. Same deal, couldn't even get close, right? It came within 15, 20 pennies here, but that's a decent bit for the XLF, and a very nice tail candle, reversal candle. So same deal, we're looking for lower prices unless the XLF can manage to get above that breakdown candle, and even if it does, I don't see a lot of room here. So definitely be watching those levels. Here's some important levels on the downside. We've got 3 gaps left open on the XLF. And that's another sign, actually, that the XLF will want to go lower, because too many gaps left open is poor market structure. And it's not market structure that's built to sustain an all-time highs rally. The market is going to want to come fill those before it's ever going to want to go make all-time highs again. So definitely be watching for these gap fills on the XLF. Okay, so lastly, I want to give you guys a stock that I think has a lot of potential this week. It does kind of depend on the market, but I'm looking at Tesla. So we've gotten on Tesla, obviously, a break of this long downtrend that we had going. And we've kind of just been in this triangle pennant pattern. And so this week, Tesla actually closed above this trend line. And so I'm considering that for now a weekly break of trend, closed outside of the trend. I would have liked a close above this box here. This box is taken from this candle, the large breakup candle. So I like this zone as a bullish consolidation pattern. I like the weekly close above the trend line. So if we can manage to stay up here and intraday start getting above these highs here, I can easily see a push up towards its gap, right? So it's got the gap all the way up at 265 area up here. and the beginning of the window here is at about 258.30. So if we can start getting closes hourly above Friday's highs, I'm definitely looking to play day trades on Tesla on intraday breakouts. And if not, then I'm probably just going to stay away. But I see a lot of potential in the upside if we can start to get those intraday breakouts. If you want to know how to play those intraday breakouts, again, go watch the support and resistance video that I made. I talk about how I use intraday levels and breakouts to make day trades. And so that's what I will be looking for on Tesla this week. So that's the only stock I really have. I don't like any other setups quite as much as Tesla. I'm going to try to do more stocks, weekly stocks that I like in the future, but for this week it's just going to be Tesla. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. Hopefully that this video helps you guys kind of see where the market might be headed next week and how to know where you're wrong, what signals to be looking for. And yeah, that's going to be it for this week. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.